Take a look at your current situation. Yes, you, right there, viewing this broadcast. Perhaps you're an unmarried gentleman beyond the age of 30, puzzled as to why that captivating female colleague at your workplace appears more drawn to her wedded coworker than to you. Or maybe you're that woman who finds herself inexplicably drawn to men sporting wedding bands. I urge you to abandon self-deception, because after this presentation, you will grasp a dynamic so primal, so starkly truthful, that you'll either resent me for exposing it, or thank me for finally illuminating what has been unfolding right before your very eyes. Let me recount an incident from the previous year. A gentleman reached out to me, age 35, a prosperous entrepreneur, quite handsome, physically fit, the complete package. He expressed, "I simply cannot comprehend these women my age. They are all pursuing married men, while I remain here, unattached and prepared for a genuine connection." And do you know what I conveyed to him? I stated, "My friend, that precisely encapsulates your predicament. You are readily available. You are prepared. You are positioned like merchandise on a retail shelf marked down 50%, and you question why no one is making a purchase. You mistakenly believe that availability enhances your value. Reconsider that notion. Allow me to illustrate the reality of this scenario, and pay close attention, because this is not some collection of pickup artist tricks or superficial dating advice. This is raw human psychology that few are willing to acknowledge. You see, past the age of 30, the entire paradigm shifts. It's as if everyone overnight received an upgraded operating system, yet the single men were never informed of the update. They continue to function on an outdated version, while everyone else has progressed to a much more advanced one. The single man believes, "At last I am settled. My life is in order now. Women will surely recognize the value I offer." Meanwhile, the woman, approaching 30, surveys him and contemplates, "If no one has claimed you by this point, what is it about you that I haven't yet perceived?" Consider it this way. You arrive at a dining establishment, correct? Two eateries stand side by side. One is completely vacant, immaculate, and looks perfect. The other has a queue stretching out the door, with patrons waiting an hour to gain entry. Where do you choose to dine? You gravitate towards where the majority is dining, because if all these individuals are waiting, it must be exceptionally good, wouldn't you agree? The empty establishment might boast superior cuisine, a more sanitary kitchen, or better service. However, you will never discover this, as you won't even venture inside to sample their offerings. This is precisely the situation for single men over 30. You are that deserted eatery, but the truth runs even deeper than that, significantly deeper. And this is where the majority of men become lost in their own bewilderment. They believe women are seeking affection, camaraderie, and partnership. Listen intently. Women beyond the age of 30 are no longer pursuing idealistic romances. They are seeking confirmation of their desirability. And nothing affirms a woman's allure more profoundly than capturing the attention of a man already committed elsewhere. Do you wish to understand why? Because at 22, a woman still believes in fairy tales, in soulmates, in true love, and in constructing a life together from the ground up. By 32, she has endured sufficient disillusionment to recognize that fairy tales are for children. Now she requires tangible proof. Proof that she still possesses her charm. Proof that she can still compete. And the ultimate evidence? causing a man who has already selected another to turn his gaze towards her. Here is something crucial you must comprehend regarding female psychology after 30. These women have dedicated a decade, perhaps longer, to securing a partner through conventional means: dating, forming relationships, awaiting commitment. And for a significant number of them, this pursuit proved unsuccessful. They are weary. They are disheartened. And most importantly, they are finished adhering to principles that did not serve them. Consequently, they fundamentally alter the nature of the game. A married man represents a fascinating proposition for a woman over 30. He is pre-vetted merchandise. Another woman has already undertaken the arduous task of nurturing him, integrating him into domestic life, and educating him on cohabitation. He comprehends when to remain silent during a dispute. He knows when to present flowers. He has learned how to navigate a woman's emotional landscape without retreating. He is akin to a pre-owned automobile. You bypass the initial stiffness of a factory model. But here is where it becomes truly intriguing, and where most individuals completely miss the point. The woman over 30 who pursues married men is not genuinely seeking to permanently acquire them. This is a fundamental misunderstanding among men. She has no desire for your marital union. She does not wish for your children to refer to her as stepmother. She desires the highlight reel, devoid of the behind-the-scenes reality. Consider social media for a moment. What do individuals showcase? Their travels, their celebrations, their perfect moments. No one broadcasts themselves doing laundry at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, or arguing about whose turn it is to take out the garbage. The woman engaged with a married man gets to perpetually inhabit that curated, Instagram-worthy version of a relationship. Every encounter is significant due to time constraints. Every rendezvous is meticulously planned because spontaneity is not an option. Each moment is charged with intensity because it might be their last. Now, let us address the single man over 30 and the reasons for his diminished desirability in the romantic arena. The primary issue: your excessive availability. You can respond to messages instantaneously. You can arrange meetings at her convenience. You have no plausible reason to depart early. You are comparable to a dining establishment operating around the clock. Convenient, certainly, but lacking any element of specialness in choosing to visit. A married man communicates at irregular hours because that is when he is able. Each message feels like a minor secret, a small act of defiance. A single man texts whenever he pleases, and it holds no particular significance. It is merely another notification on her device, competing with her social media feeds and professional emails. The secondary issue: your excessive demands. The single man beyond the age of 30 typically desires the entire commitment from the outset. Marriage, children, Sunday dinners with the in-laws. You have postponed this for so long that you are now in a rush. You are akin to someone who has abstained from food all day and now wishes to consume the entirety of a buffet. It is overwhelming. It is pressurized. And pressure is the very last thing a woman over 30 wishes to experience. Do you know her thoughts? She is considering, I spent my 20s being urged to become someone's girlfriend, then someone's wife, then someone's mother. Now you expect me to sign up for all of that again with you? Someone who couldn't even secure a commitment during your peak years? Harsh, isn't it? Yes, it is the truth, undoubtedly. However, the married man cannot impose any of that pressure upon her. He cannot propose marriage. He cannot introduce her to his mother. He cannot request that she move in with him. All he can offer is the present moment, this experience. And for a woman who is fatigued from a decade of unsuccessful future planning, embracing the present moment offers a sense of liberation. There is another aspect to this that few discuss: the financial component. Oh, you believed this was solely about emotions? Awaken. A married man engaging in extramarital affairs is operating under a burden of guilt. And guilt, my friends, is the most costly emotion in existence. He feels remorse for his infidelity. Consequently, he compensates with generosity. That weekend getaway, he is covering the cost. That expensive restaurant, his treat. That piece of jewelry she casually mentioned, already purchased. He is attempting to purchase his way out of feeling like a reprobate. Meanwhile, the single man is contemplating splitting the bill, adhering to principles of equality and contemporary relationships. Whom do you believe she will select? The single man proposes, let us construct something together. The married man states, allow me to indulge you presently. After 30, which proposition sounds more appealing? The promise of potentially building something in the future, or the assurance of being treated as royalty today? And here is a psychological phenomenon that occurs. The very unavailability becomes addictive. Do you comprehend why? Because humans are inherently wired to desire what they cannot possess. It is fundamental psychology. The single man is consistently available, always present, always ready. There is no pursuit, no challenge, no sense of accomplishment. Dating him is akin to playing a video game with cheat codes activated. You may emerge victorious, but the experience lacks genuine satisfaction. The married man presents a perpetual challenge. Will he send a message today? Can he arrange to meet this weekend? Will he leave his wife? These questions generate emotional surges, dopamine releases. It is genuinely habit-forming, much like a slot machine. You are never certain when you will win, but the mere possibility compels you to continue pulling the lever. Now, allow me to share a pattern I have observed repeatedly. A woman over 30 begins dating a married man. Initially, she assures herself and everyone around her it is simply for amusement, nothing serious. She sincerely believes this. She harbors no intention of disrupting a marriage. She is merely attempting to rekindle a sense of vitality after years of disappointing relationships with single men who either lacked the capacity for commitment or were not worthy of it. However, something intriguing then transpires. She begins to find comfort in this arrangement. No obligations, all enjoyment. No discussions about the future, as everyone understands where it is not heading. No introductions to family, no cohabitation. No conversations about children. Simply dinners, hotel stays, and exhilaration. And she realizes that this is, in fact, ideal for her current life circumstances. She can dedicate herself to her career without encountering complaints about working excessive hours. She can maintain her autonomy without someone attempting to merge their lives. She can receive male attention and affirmation without the suffocating expectations inherent in a committed relationship. Meanwhile, what is the single man doing? He is likely navigating dating applications, dispatching thoughtful messages that go unanswered, devising inventive initial dates that lead nowhere, striving to demonstrate his distinctiveness from the multitude of other men. But here is the unvarnished truth. Endeavoring to prove your uniqueness is precisely what renders you indistinguishable from everyone else. The single man over 30 enters a date with the mindset, I must convince her that I am relationship material. He discusses his stable employment, his property, his retirement savings, his 5-year strategic plan. Do you know how that sounds to a woman over 30? It sounds like a job interview for a position she is uncertain she still desires. The married man enters a hotel room with the contemplation, we have 2 hours. There are no future prospects to analyze, no plans to formulate, no expectations to manage. Merely 2 hours of intense present moment engagement. For a woman exhausted by prolonged planning that has yielded no positive outcomes, this simplicity is intoxicating. Would you like to know something amusing? Single men complain. Women state they desire commitment, yet they pursue unavailable men. Yes, they do articulate this. Much like you might claim to seek a pleasant, stable partner, yet swipe right on the Instagram influencer who was undeniably destined to bring chaos to your existence. Individuals articulate numerous sentiments. Observe their actions, not their pronouncements. Here is a dose of reality regarding women beyond 30 that men are reluctant to confront. Many of them have been wounded by the conventional trajectory of relationships. Do you grasp my meaning? Dating, establishing a connection, moving in together, engagement, marriage, procreation. That predetermined path society dictates everyone should follow. They embarked upon this journey in their 20s. And where did it lead them? Divorce, disillusionment, or the continued state of being single at 35. Therefore, when you, the single man over 30, arrive offering to place them back upon that identical escalator, they exhibit no interest. Been there, experienced that, possess the emotional scars to substantiate it. The married man offers an escape from the escalator altogether. It is a relationship that can never advance in the conventional sense, which inherently means it can never falter in the conventional sense either. And let us address another matter. The notion of a biological imperative. Surely, women over 30 desire offspring. Or perhaps you are contemplating. Indeed, some do. But you are aware of what? Many of them are more concerned with avoiding the prospect of becoming single mothers, and having witnessed their companions divorce in their 30s with young children in tow, they are reconsidering whether that innate drive is worth the inherent risks. The married man cannot provide them with children, at least not legitimate ones. And for numerous women over 30, this is not a flaw. It is a deliberate feature. They can relish the relationship without the burden of making decisions about progeny. The choice is made for them by circumstances. At times, having no choice is preferable to the agony of having to choose. Now, what about the matter of intimacy? Oh, you believed I would omit this aspect. The single man over 30 frequently approaches sexual encounters as if he were still 22. He subscribes to the belief that quantity is paramount. He prioritizes performance. He emphasizes technique. However, the woman over 30 has experienced sufficient intimacy to ascertain that what truly holds significance is the psychological element. The married man introduces an inherent element of mental engagement. The illicit nature, the secrecy, the perceived danger. These are psychological aphrodisiacs that no degree of technical skill can replicate. The single man might demonstrate greater stamina, might possess knowledge of more positions, might have a more aesthetically pleasing physique. It is irrelevant. The married man cultivates a sense of illicit fantasy within her, and that sensation transcends any physical prowess. Furthermore, there is the element of validation. When a married man jeopardizes his marital commitment to be with her, that constitutes the ultimate compliment to a woman's ego. It communicates, "You are so valuable that I am willing to risk everything for you." The single man risks nothing. He has no losses to incur. His interest, regardless of its sincerity, will never carry the same weight. However, here lies the profound tragedy of this entire situation. The single men over 30 who are genuinely suitable partners, who would indeed commit, who would sincerely endeavor to build something lasting, are being overlooked in favor of men who can offer nothing beyond stolen moments and unfulfilled pledges. And the women over 30 who pursue married men are effectively guaranteeing their own future disappointment, as these liaisons almost invariably conclude unfavorably. I am aware of the thoughts some of you married men watching are having. Excellent, so I am now desirable. Do not become overly enthusiastic. You are not desirable in and of yourself. Your unavailability is. If you were to undergo a divorce tomorrow, that appeal would vanish instantaneously. You would simply become another single man over 30, albeit one burdened with emotional baggage and alimony obligations. And for the women observing, who recognize themselves in this pattern, I implore you to question what you are truly seeking. Because if your objective is to reaffirm your attractiveness, there are far superior methods than becoming someone's clandestine secret. If your aim is to circumvent commitment, there are more forthright avenues than engaging with someone already pledged elsewhere. If your desire is for exhilaration, there are risks worth embracing that do not involve the devastation of families. The unvarnished truth that no one wishes to confront is that this entire dynamic is rooted in apprehension. Single men over 30 fear they will never find a partner. Women over 30 fear they are running out of time. Married men fear they have made an erroneous choice. Everyone is operating from a place of fear. And fear propels individuals to engage in imprudent actions. Do you comprehend what is truly disheartening? The genuinely commendable single men over 30 begin to perceive this trend and become embittered. They contemplate, why should I remain single and accessible when being married renders me more attractive? Consequently, they hasten into unions for misguided reasons, thereby perpetuating the cycle and becoming the next cohort of unhappy married men who will in turn seek clandestine affairs. It is a self-sustaining loop. And the women who dedicate their 30s to dating married men often reach their 40s still unattached, now finding themselves in competition with women in their 30s for the attention of those same married men. The allure of validation begins to wane. The excitement dissipates, and they come to the realization that they have spent a decade engaged in relationships designed to lead nowhere. Here is something else to consider. The proliferation of social media and dating platforms has exacerbated this issue. A woman over 30 can post a selfie and receive hundreds of endorsements, dozens of messages. She feels desired, sought after. But deep down, she understands that these men would send similar overtures to virtually anyone. Their attention holds little genuine significance. However, a married man, deliberately risking his marital bond for her, that attention possesses weight. It carries a cost. It signifies something, even if that meaning is ultimately detrimental. The single man on dating applications is merely another face in an unending digital stream. He is contending with hundreds of other profiles. His carefully crafted message gets lost amidst a deluge of superficial greetings and inappropriate imagery. He strives to stand out by exhibiting authenticity in a marketplace that rewards superficiality. It is hardly surprising that he cannot compete with the married man who already distinguishes himself simply by virtue of being forbidden fruit. Let me share a perspective on married men who engage in these clandestine relationships. They are not content at home. That is readily apparent. However, they are also lacking in courage. They will not depart from their unhappy marriages, yet they will not endeavor to mend them either. They desire the security of domesticity and the thrill of an illicit encounter. They are attempting to simultaneously enjoy both. And women over 30 are voluntarily serving as that tempting diversion. Why? Because these women have come to understand that striving to be everything to someone is an exhausting endeavor. To be the wife, the mother, the homemaker, the career professional, it is an overwhelming proposition. To be the dessert is considerably easier. You are only expected to be sweet. You make an appearance only on special occasions, and no one anticipates you to provide nourishment. The single man over 30 extends an invitation to once again be the entire repast. Be my everything, he implores. Let us construct a complete life together. And she reflects, I have previously attempted to be everything to someone. It did not prove successful. I would rather be something exceptional to someone than everything to no one. Would you like to know the truly disturbing aspect? Often, the wife is aware, perhaps not of the specifics, but she senses something is amiss. And at times, she experiences a sense of relief. The affair alleviates some of the pressure on her. She no longer needs to be the vivacious one, the alluring one, the exciting one. She can simply be weary, comfortable, and focused on her children or her career. The mistress is, in essence, providing a service, attending to needs that she no longer wishes to fulfill. This fosters a peculiar equilibrium where everyone obtains something, yet no one acquires everything. The husband gains variety, the wife experiences diminished expectations, and the mistress enjoys excitement without the burden of commitment. The sole individual experiencing a deficit is the single man, perpetually wondering why he cannot secure a romantic connection. And here is what is likely to unfold. This discourse will undoubtedly cause discomfort. Single men will protest, "You are being excessively harsh." Women over 30 will assert, "You are oversimplifying." Married men will feign disinterest. However, let us acknowledge this. Truth is indifferent to individual feelings. The solution: cease participating in contests you are destined to lose. Single men over 30, abandon your efforts to validate your worth to individuals who have already deemed you unworthy. Refrain from offering commitment to those who perceive it as a form of confinement. Stop making yourselves readily available to those who only value the unattainable. Women over 30, cease accepting the role of a clandestine companion. Distinguish between intense excitement and genuine intimacy. Do not utilize illicit affairs as a therapeutic measure for your aversion to commitment. You are far more deserving than to be someone's escape from their lived reality. Married men, either rectify your marital situation or bring it to a definitive conclusion. Stop employing other women as mere temporary fixes for your unhappiness. Discontinue your behavior as cowards who desire change without enacting any. However, here is the reality. The majority of you will not implement any alterations. Single men will continue to ponder their solitude. Women over 30 will persist in pursuing unavailability. Married men will continue their infidelity. This is because genuine change necessitates the admission of past errors, a far more arduous undertaking than enduring perpetual dissatisfaction. Do you wish to know what is genuinely captivating beyond the age of 30? An individual who possesses a clear understanding of their desires and is unafraid to disengage from what does not serve them. Someone who does not require external affirmation to comprehend their inherent value. Someone capable of being alone without experiencing loneliness. However, this necessitates diligent self-improvement, and it is considerably easier to attribute your struggles to external factors. The contemporary dating landscape beyond 30 is not compromised because married men are perceived as more appealing than single men. It is dysfunctional because everyone is endeavoring to evade the pain stemming from their past missteps rather than learning from them. Single men seek to circumvent further rejection. Women over 30 aim to evade additional disappointment. Married men attempt to sidestep confronting their unhappy marital circumstances. Everyone is adopting a defensive posture. No one is proactively pursuing resolution. Therefore, what is the authentic resolution? Cease striving to be chosen and commence the act of choosing. Discontinue awaiting external validation and begin affirming your own worth. Stop seeking someone to complete you and instead achieve completeness within yourself. But this, of course, requires considerable effort, does it not? It is far simpler to continue engaging in these futile dynamics, harboring the hope that this instance will yield a different outcome. The woman over 30 who favors married men is not fundamentally flawed. She is responding with logical reasoning to a system that is itself compromised. The single man over 30 who struggles to secure dates is not defective. He's promoting a concept nobody's embracing anymore. The gentleman who's wed but engaging in infidelity isn't inherently wicked. He's simply lacking fortitude, opting for the straightforward route over the principled one. Everyone is making calculated decisions driven by unfounded anxieties. Until an individual summons the fortitude to disrupt this recurring pattern, it will persist across successive eras. The same predictable outcomes, the same letdowns, the same grievances. You arrived here seeking to comprehend why women beyond the age of 30 gravitate towards married men. Now you understand, it's not about the men themselves. It's about averting heartache, craving affirmation, and choosing familiar disappointments over uncharted possibilities. It's about apprehension masquerading as inclination, timidity parading as conscious selection. Unattached men observing this will likely think, so I need to tie the knot to become desirable? Completely missing the crux of the matter. The women will observe and muse. He doesn't grasp my circumstances. The married gentleman won't even make it to the conclusion of this presentation. It's far too disquieting. Yet, perhaps, just perhaps, one person will witness this and reflect. I must cease engaging in these charades. Perhaps one unattached man will stop pursuing individuals who aren't interested. Perhaps one woman will stop accepting meager offerings from another's plate. Perhaps one married man will either mend his existing union or dissolve it with integrity, though it's unlikely. It requires less effort to persist in your current habits and lament the outcomes. It's simpler to attribute blame to the dynamics between genders, societal influences, online platforms, anything other than oneself. It's easier to play the role of the aggrieved party in your narrative than to be its architect. So, proceed and prove my assumptions incorrect. Abandon your predictability. Cease adhering to pre-written scripts that lead nowhere. Stop conflating intense emotions with genuine connection. Accessibility with vulnerability. And inaccessibility with strength. Begin truly experiencing life instead of merely postponing its inevitable conclusion. But you won't. You'll watch this presentation, perhaps share it with acquaintances, engage in some discourse, and then revert precisely to the familiar cycles. The unattached men will continue to ponder their solitude. The women over 30 will persist in their pursuit of married men. The married men will continue their betrayals. And in a few years, you'll find yourself watching another video remarkably similar to this one, still questioning why nothing has shifted. The crimson button I referenced at the outset isn't some mystical artifact. It simply represents the resolve to stop deceiving yourself about your true desires and your deepest fears. However, activating it necessitates accepting accountability for your decisions, and that prospect is more daunting than any rejection, any infidelity, any marital dissolution. So, what will it be? Will you continue participating in a contest where everyone falters? Or will you finally upend the playing surface and depart? The decision rests solely with you. It always has. You've merely chosen to feign ignorance because making a choice is inherently frightening. Welcome to the realm of modern courtship beyond the 30th year, where everyone carries invisible burdens. No one acknowledges them, and we all feign that the answer lies in discovering the ideal partner rather than cultivating one's own suitability. This isn't a tale of romance. It's a narrative of dread. And you embody both the tormentor and the tormented. The reality is, women past their third decade don't favor married men. They favor an absence of pressure, a semblance of agency, and the idealized vision of being cherished. Unattached men past their third decade aren't shunned due to inherent flaws. They are overlooked because they represent a future that has already encountered misfortune. Married men aren't inherently more appealing. They are merely perceived as less risky propositions for women who have relinquished their faith in everlasting unions. Everyone is striving to avoid defeat rather than aiming for victory. And when the objective is simply to not lose, the outcome is invariably a collective loss. This is the established order. This is the unvarnished truth. This is why you're here, absorbing this presentation, instead of being engaged in a fulfilling partnership. Alter the dynamics of the game, or continue to endure defeat. The choice is yours. But cease pretending you're unaware of the underlying principles. Following this exposition, you comprehend them with absolute clarity. The pertinent inquiry remains: what course of action will you undertake?